If you're on a platform engineering team, you know the feeling, right? There's this constant nagging question. How do we actually prove our value? It's the difference between being seen as just another cost center versus being celebrated as a genuine value driver. Well, the answer lies in making a really fundamental shift in how we think, adopting a product mindset.
So let's start with this question, because it's the one every platform team really needs to ask themselves. Is your platform a service that helps developers fly, or is it a bottleneck? A great platform is an accelerator. It just makes developers' lives easier. But if it's not focused, it becomes a major source of friction that slows the entire company down.
Does this sound familiar? You feel like you're constantly buried under a mountain of support tickets, you're always fighting fires, and you're struggling to show your value beyond just, tickets closed. You're not alone. This is what we call the platform trap. It's this frustrating, reactive cycle that honestly just burns teams out.
Now, escaping this trap requires a total shift in thinking. On one side, you've got that reactive, ticket-driven cost center mindset. It's all about measuring activity. But on the other side, you have the proactive, roadmap-driven product mindset. And this isn't just about closing tickets anymore. It's about measuring real, tangible value and taking true ownership of the developer experience.
So, what's the big secret to making this shift happen? Well, it all starts with one simple but incredibly powerful idea. Start thinking of your platform as a product. And hey, if your platform is the product, then what does that make your developers? That's right, they're your customers. And suddenly, every single decision you make is framed by their needs and their success.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? It captures the entire philosophy perfectly. You're shifting from just building infrastructure to actually creating a seamless, amazing developer experience. When your developers are your customers, you start obsessing over their satisfaction and their productivity because you realize their success is your success.
Okay, so if developers are our customers, how do we know if they're happy? How do we even begin to measure our success? We can't just rely on gut feelings. We need to measure what actually matters to them. And this is where service level objectives, or SLOs, come into play.
So, what exactly is an SLO? Well, try not to think of it as some internal metric for your team. Instead, think of it as a promise you're making to your developers. It's a specific, measurable target that defines performance from their point of view. It's all about answering the question, what does good enough actually look and feel like to the people using our platform every single day?
And just look at how tangible these things can be. We're moving away from a vague goal like improved developer speed to a super concrete target. A developer can create a new environment in under 15 minutes. We go from make the pipeline more stable to a clear promise, over 99.5% CI/CD pipeline success. These are the kind of outcome-based metrics that directly connect your team's hard work to real developer value. But here's the thing, raw metrics only tell part of the story. To truly understand your developer customers, you have to listen to them. And I mean really listen. This means moving beyond just reacting to the occasional complaint and building structured, repeatable ways to gather real, actionable feedback.
This is such a critical lesson for any product owner, and that includes a platform team. If you only react to the person who complains the loudest or the most often, you risk building a platform that only serves a few vocal individuals instead of the entire developer community. You need data, not just anecdotes.
So what does a balanced feedback strategy even look like? Well, take a look at this. Notice something interesting? Support tickets are just a tiny slice of the pie, only about 10%. The real deep insights come from combining that quantitative data, like telemetry, with qualitative feedback you get from structured surveys and actual user interviews. This is how you get the whole picture, not just a biased one.
All right, let's put all the pieces together. I want to walk you through a quick example of how this data-driven, product-minded approach can turn a painful point of friction into a totally seamless flow for your developers.
Okay, so it starts here. Imagine your metrics dashboard is just flashing red. That SLO we talked about earlier, creating a new environment in under 15 minutes, is being missed. And not just once, but consistently. The data is screaming at you that there's a problem, but it doesn't tell you why.
And this brings us to that beautiful iteration cycle. First, you identify the friction using your SLO data. Next, you go gather that qualitative feedback through surveys, which finally reveals the why. Turns out, there's a really confusing step in the workflow. Armed with that insight, you iterate and improve the process. And then, the most crucial final step, you measure the impact. And when the data shows that SLO is now being met consistently, boom! You've just completed a full value-driven iteration. So, we've covered the mindset shift, the metrics that matter, and the feedback loops. Now, let's pull it all together into a simple, actionable framework to help you build a truly product-driven platform.
This is basically your blueprint. First, define your product and your customers. Then, set those clear, outcome-based SLOs. Establish structured feedback loops. Use all that data to prioritize your roadmap based on real impact. And finally, just iterate relentlessly to hunt down and remove friction. You follow these steps, and you are well on your way. So, I'll leave you with this one question to think about. If you could track just one metric, one single number, that would totally transform how your organization sees your platform's value, what would it be? Because answering that question, that's the first real step toward becoming not just a platform team, but an undeniable product powerhouse.